speaker.
Sure. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. We welcome you all to the CSE's webinar called Lost, the Story of Disappearing Rivers and Lakes in Our Cities. Today, we will discuss about our city lakes and rivers, which are the water wealth of the cities. And cities, whether it's a big city or a small city, it extracts the water from the river or the water bodies present inside the city. And in return, we see that the city is giving the sewage back into the rivers and lakes. And as a result, what happens is the city has to move far and far away from the city to get to fetch its drinking water. This increases the expenditure of pumping and also the O&M cost. And we have seen in our recent research, say for example, I'm just talking about 2 3 cities. Like one, we recently went to Indore, where the O&M cost is very high because it has to extract the water from Narmada, which is 70 kilometers away from the city. And also due to the hilly topography, there is a huge cost of pumping. Now, recently, the government has announced that to cut down the cost, they are going to use the solar panels. Again, we can talk about Bengaluru, another city of lakes, which has destroyed its all the water wealth, and as a result, they have moved to Kaveri, which is 100 kilometer away from the city, and as a result, the municipal corporation is losing. The water board is losing almost 390 crore every year. Bhopal, another example, which is again a city of lakes, has also moved to a faraway distance, uh, say 35 kilometer for the Kola Dam, and even to Narmada, which is 70 to 80 kilometers away from the city. This is because the city could not sustain the water bodies that were present in the city initially. So, this happens due to the unplanned urbanization, we all know. And there are certain cities which have their water bodies which absorb the extreme storm events. As a result, the city could have been protected from the floods. So, today we have a outstanding panel of speakers who will be covering the stories from the ground. We have right from the central government ministry, the National Water Mission, who will be talking about the central schemes which fund the restoration of the water bodies, be it lake or rivers. Then we have some successful case studies from the ground from the district of Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh, where we have the commissioner himself who will be sharing the success stories from the ground. And then we have Mr. Stalin Dayanand, who is from the NGO Van Shakti from Mumbai, who will talk about Mithi River, which is actually hitting the headlines every year due to wrong reasons. The river is lost, and formally, such rivers are even, they are called the drains or the nalas. And lastly, but not the least, we have the way forward from Ms. Madhu Verma, who will be talking about the whole way forward, how to use the nature based solution, and what can be the impact economically and also environmentally, what can be the impact. So, we start today with Shri Shiv Mohan Dikshit, Technical Advisor from National Water Mission, who will be actually talking about the central schemes which have funded or which are still funding the restoration of the water bodies, and also will be talking about the programs and some success stories from the ground. Over to you, Shri Dikshit.
Yeah, thank you very much. Before we begin, I would like to inform you that Ms. Archana Verma, our Additional Secretary and Mission Director of National Water Mission, could not attend this important webinar because of some unforeseen commitment. And however, she has conveyed her best wishes for this productive session. So good afternoon to all of you. I am S.N. Dikshit, Advisor Technical from National Water Mission. So today we dive deeper into this urgent crisis of managing the urban water bodies. With the rapid urbanization, India has lost around the 40% of urban wetland in the last 3 decades, leading to the severe flooding and the shortage. So we will explore the cause, risk, and the innovative solutions. Also update the programs like the Jal Shakti Abhiyan and Jal Sanchay Jan Bhagidari. So this is not an environmental issues. It is about the sustainable cities for our future. So let's start with the understanding of the problem, and then we will understand what are the probable solutions and what are the government of India is doing for these solutions. So kindly upload the presentation. Second slide. Yeah. So we all know what are the main reasons of this urban flooding. So the disappearance of the river and lake stems from the multiple interconnected issues. जो encroachment है हमारा, that is turns the floodplain into the concrete jungles, blocking the natural water flows, and pollutions, especially the untreated sewage and the industrial effluent and the plastic waste, chokes the ecosystem. Over the 70% of our Indian surface water is contaminated because of this sewage or the industrial pollution. Disrupting the drainage system prevents the groundwater recharge, exacerbating the droughts, while the biodiversity loss reduce the natural buffer against the climate extremes. These create a vicious cycles, as already the Sain Gupta ji already mentions about the Bangalore, where the 80% of the lakes are polluted or the encroached. So illustrate how we consider how this leads to the disaster, because these disappearance leads to the disaster. Next slide. So now the growing risk to the urban flooding, we know that in every year we are getting this urban floods, and annually if we assess that around 7.5 million of the Indian population is affected because of this, and there is economical damage. Crores are wasted every year. Rapid urban growth and the climate change increase, we know that we are receiving the same rainfall every year, but the number of rainy days due to this climate change effect is reducing. Because of number of rainy days is reducing, our intensity of rainfall is increasing. Because of the intensity of rainfall, we are getting all these issues. So neglected the system turns the monsoon into the catastrophe. For example, in Mumbai in 2025 floods, we are seeing in the Gurugram. And this is because of in the Mumbai, we lost the mangroves and river amplifies the damages. Disappearance of the rivers amplifies the damages. But there is a hope. What is the hope? That is the restoration. Let's see what the government is responding, how the government is responding. Next slide. So under the Ministry of Jal Shakti, if you see in the year 2019, the both the departments, Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation and the Department of Water Resources, both the department and merged, and the single Ministry of Jal Shakti came into the force. So under this ministry, both the departments are working together, and there are the several schemes were launched in the year 2019. This Jal Shakti Abhiyan Catch the Rain was launched in the 256 water stressed districts. And from the year 2021 onward, this becomes the annual features. And there are the several activities under the Jal Shakti Abhiyan is going on. So we will show you in the subsequent slides what are the major activities which we are doing under the Jal Shakti Abhiyans. And under the Jal Shakti Abhiyan, there is a special initiative that is a Jal Sanchay Jan Bhagidari, which was launched in the year 2024 last year. And the main aim of the Jal Sanchay Jan Bhagidari initiative is to create the low cost artificial recharge structures across the country, and the convergence model through the Amrut, PM KSYs, MG Narega, and the CSR fundings. So through these fundings, we have created the several structures. And I would like to inform you that the Honorable Minister has given the target of 10 lakh structures, which is to be created, which is on the ground from the from the September month to the 31st May of this year. And we achieved this target. Not only achieved, we crossed this target. And in this span of 9 months, we have created around the 27 lakh artificial recharge structures. So the target was given us to the 10 lakh and we have achieved the 27 lakh. But this target is because of the active involvement of the district administrations, and they involved, and our ULBs involved. So because of their active involvement and the community involved, because of that, this kind of the initiative was successful and is successful. Now I will talk about the Namami Gange program, which integrate the pollution abatement and the biodiversity restoration. Under the Namami Gange program, we have invested several amount, around the 40,000 crore. And there are the several projects like the 323 projects which has been created. So several STPs has been created and their capacity has been enhanced. And under the national mission for the clean Ganga, there is one special initiative, that is the River City Alliance. So in India, they have done the River City Alliance, and in a similar patterns, they also signed the Global River City Alliance. So they have signed the MOUs with the different countries where they have learned from each other. So what the best practice, how they are planning in their country, so we can replicate in India. So whatever we are doing without involving the community, it is not possible. And the community only be involved when there is a behavioral changes there. So we are also emphasizing through our campaigns, through our schemes, how we can do this behavioral change on the ground. And the community, we give the ownership to the community. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. So now, as I already informed you that the Jal Shakti Abhiyan Catch the Rain was launched in the year 2019 in the 256 water stressed districts. But from the year 2021, it becomes the annual features. So from year 2023, we also include one of the special themes. For example, in the year 2023, the theme was source sustainability for the drinking water. And in the year 2024, the theme was the Nari Shakti se Jal Shakti. And present year, in the year 2025, the theme is Jal Sanchay Jan Bhagidari Jan Jagrukta Ki Or. So every year we change the theme. But our major component like the rainwater harvesting, water conservation work, and the afforestation work, establishment of the Jal Shakti Kendras, district water conservation plan. So these activities remain intact. But every year we include some special component in our Abhiyan. For example, this year we have the special focus on the 13 major river basins. So the Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Byas, Satluj, Yamuna, Brahmaputra, Luni, Narmada, Godavari, Mahanadi, Krishna, and Kaveri. So these 13 DPRs which the Ministry of Environment has prepared. So in these basins, we are trying to involve the forest department, because the district administrations, the DMs are doing very good job. We are not able to involve the DFOs because one major rivers belongs to the forest areas. So how we can involve the forest departments. So this time we involved the foresters. So we are trying to create the similar group as the Vikramaditya ji knows that ma'am is very active on the WhatsApp, and ma'am create the WhatsApp group, and there is a very fast communication. So likewise, ma'am is planning to create the DFOs group so that we can have a fast communication with the DFOs as well. Next slide. So now I will tell you the best practices about what the good things happened under the Jal Sanchay Jan Bhagidari. For example, in the Yadgir district, if you see, the Tata Trust has done a good job. So they have desilted the several tanks and they involve the farmers. Likewise, in the Madhya Pradesh, they revive the step wells with the zero financial expenditures. This is done entirely by the communities. And likewise, in the Ganga Jal Sanvardhan Yojana, they have also through the communities they have done the good job. And under the Buxers, they have done the Amrit Sarovar has been created. So they have revived the Ahar Pine traditional system. So we are also reviving the traditional heritage structures. So the Ministry of Jal Shakti through the Jal Shakti Abhiyan have a special component for reviving the traditional water bodies. Next slide. So under the Namami Gange, we focus on the holistic revival. For example, the pollution control through the STPs, riverfront for the public use, and revival of the biodiversity. So I would like to inform you that up to the year 2025, 502 projects is already sanctioned, and out of which 323 is completed. So we are also integrating this flood management integration, zoning, and tech like the real-time forecasting to prevent the disaster. We are involving all these components in our Namami Gange program. Next slide. So I already informed about the RCA inspired by the Honorable Prime Minister, sir. So it was created by the National Water Mission, by the National Mission for the Clean Ganga. They have signed the MOUs with the different agencies. In the year 2021, they have signed only the 30 MOUs. Now the membership of this RCA is 143 at present. So they have the several river city which share the experience with each other so that we can learn. The purpose of this RCA is to have the urban river management planning in the center of the planning. Next slide. So this is the progress of the RCA. So when it was initiated in the year 2021, the framework and the template was issued. And then in the year 2021, there was a 30 members. And now around the 2023 to till date, there are the 143 members, some of the international members. Next slides. So there are the several programs of the government of India. For example, we can do the convergence, which the Jal Shakti Abhiyan is an example. The Ministry of Jal Shakti is not giving any money, but through the convergence through the MG Narega. So there is a fund under the MORD. So there is a fund available under the Mahua. So there are some state funds. So through these funding, we can do the miracles. So there are the convergence of the multiple schemes. Under the Jal Shakti Abhiyan, the departmental convergence exists. I already informed that MG Narega is the major component, the major scheme for the funding. Apart from the MG Narega, the PMKSY, SBM, Amrut, 15th Finance Commission, and the state, their own fund, and the CSR is also the major source where we can tap the funds. Under the Namami Gange, which is a centrally sponsored schemes, and we for the river rejuvenation and pollution control. And there is another scheme that is an RCP, which is under the NRCD, the National River Conservation Directorate, which fund the river pollution abatement projects. So if you have any river in your city and you want to get the fund, so prepare the DPR and submit to the NRCD. So they can fund that for the revival of that city, that river. And there is another component, that is the RRR, the repair, renovation, and restoration of water bodies, that is under the PMKSY. So this is also the fund available under this scheme. Under the Amrit Sarovar, the Amrit Sarovar mission, which is run by the MOA. So also this missions can be possible through the convergence in the 15th Finance Commission, and the SBM Gramin funds also available. Apart from these government funds, we can tap in the CSR, because the CSR is the major component where we can tap in, and we can explore the possibility uh, for the water conservation works. And apart from this, there are some state missions, the Urban Rejuvenation Fund or the Green Bonds, which are available for the funding. So in the last, I would like to inform you that recently there is a major change in the MG Narega. Under the Schedule 1, we have included some water related activities. So initially there are only the 85 activities. Now we the MORD changed the schedule, and they have included more water related activities under the Schedule 1. And one major change is that they have emphasizing that 65% of the total cost will be given to the 65% of that component of the NRM component is given to the overexploited and the critical category blocks or the districts, and 40% is to be given to the critical districts, and the 30% is to be given to the safe districts. So that is written. Now the schedule is changed. The recently within this month that schedule is changed. So this is a good news for the, and the district administration can tap in, can reach out the MG Narega fund. Next slide. So with this, I thank you, the CSC, for inviting me for this important webinar. Thank you from my side.
Thank you, Dikshit ji. That was really, we learned a lot. We learned about the community participation. We learned about your 10 lakh structures, which you are completing within 31st May. And we have also learned about government for the restoration of their polluted rivers. And the most interesting part is about the change in the Narega, MGNREGA, which you have said, which have been done very recently, which are focusing more on the water activities. Now that we have all these learnings about the central schemes and the funds available, so we will quickly run a poll for the audience. Can we have the poll, please? So we have 30 seconds. So this is planned and designed in a way that before the next speaker comes in with the motivating story, we can have an idea what the audience is thinking about. This will help both the speaker and us also, so that we can give comments on this. I think sure. Okay. So let's share the results. We see that more than 69% of the audience, they think that initiatives at all the levels are very important, whether it's ward, district, or state. So with that, we come to the next speaker, Shri Vikramaditya Singh. So Mr. Singh is the Municipal Commissioner of Ghaziabad district. He has a very motivating story for the district, or from the district of Ghaziabad, where he has been involved in the restoration of the water body. And before joining as a commissioner, he has as a CDO. He has done a lot of work on Amrit Sarovar. So, Commissioner sir, we request you to come up with your presentation. We can share your presentation. And for the audience, please put your questions on the Q&A box so that we can actually take care of that. And all the bio CVs are being posted on the chat box, the detailed bio CV. So over to
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much. I'll try sharing it. Why don't you only share it for me and I'll just ask them to go ahead. So, a very good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to speak on this webinar. And a lot has been said from the National Water Mission. And I'm here to share a few of the initiatives that we've taken in Ghaziabad. Can we have the next slide, please? So this is, I'm going to try and be short and brief and wrap up in less than 10 minutes. Uh, this is the theme for today. I'm going to talk about what the urban water crisis is, what is our vision, what all initiatives we've taken. Although I was asked to speak about rejuvenation of ponds, but I'm going to speak about what we're doing with wastewater and ponds and other initiatives as well. Next slide, please. So these are a couple of pictures from the peri-urban areas, from outskirts of Ghaziabad that are abutting villages. And as we can see, we have a major problem of disappearing lakes and ponds due to growing urbanization. We have a problem of over extraction of groundwater resources. Ghaziabad being in dark zone, even borings which go as deep as 350 feet are actually failing. So it is quite a intensive call for action. And I saw the question, the poll that was taken. We of course need will at the ward, the district, the city, and the state level, and a lot is being done, as was previously presented as well. And I'm here to share a few of those initiatives. And of course, we have other problems like encroachment, dumping of waste, unchecked construction, recurring urban floods, waterlogging, urban water bodies, which are not really being used for carbon sequestration. Next, please. So this is our next slide, please. Yeah, this is our vision under aligned with the vision under Amrut 2. And of course, we're talking about one big initiative that I'll speak about just after this slide. We're the first municipal corporation to issue India's first green municipal bond, raise money for a tertiary treatment plant, a TTRO plant, and it is the second such plant in the country. And now we have commissioned the plant. It is in operation, and we've upgraded the STP into a TSTP, and we're selling that potable grade water, tertiary treated water, to industries for industrial use. So I'll just share that also in the coming slides. Other than that, of course, we've worked on ponds rejuvenation. We are now working on. We've collaborated with IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi for nature-based solutions for the drains that have not yet been tapped. And then we're doing intensive Miyawaki plantations, which also help in not only carbon sequestration but also help in sort of preventing the loss of rainwater, amongst other benefits. And then we have our River cleaning initiatives that we're undertaking. And other than this, the water that is being used from STPs in a circular economy mode being used for horticulture purposes and other community engagement that we're doing. Next, please. So I'll start with talking about, because one of the topics of today's webinar is also treatment of wastewater and how we're dealing with wastewater. I'm going to speak about our TSTP, that is our municipal bond project. Next, please. So in a nutshell, I'll just speak as these slides go forth. This project is a 300 crore project where it was initially meant to be a 320 crore project, but then there was a sort of curtailment, and now it's a 300 crore project where we went in for a raise of municipal bond. We raised 150 crores. We were oversubscribed. And 150 crores, it was done in HAM, hybrid annuity mode, and 150 crores was put in by the private player. And the project took about 2 years to complete, owing to, of course, certain delays like implementation of GRAP and rainy season and other things. And now that we've completed it, we've commissioned it, we're in a transitional COD period where we've started providing potable grade water to industrial units. I remember almost 2 years ago when I joined, the number of water purchase agreements that we had signed with the industries was only 8, and now we're sitting at 1,012 agreements that we've signed, and our target is about 1,400. And 12 MLD of treated water is already going to these industries, and our target is, of course, to reach 32 MLD. We're looking at expansion to other industrial areas as well. We got a couple of awards for this project, and there is, of course, this revenue sharing agreement that we've signed up with the private vendor. Can we go ahead, please? These are the features of the technology that is being used. There is a 3-step technology. There is, of course, membrane filtration and microfiltration, ultrafiltration, which goes into the TSTP after the STP, which then goes into mixing of completely pure water with 70% pure water, with 30% pure water, and we get an average of 70%, which then goes into the UGSR and then goes into the distribution network. We've laid down 17 kilometers of distribution network for these industries as well. Next, please. These are the processes involved in issuing a municipal bond and the benefits of that. I don't think this is the purview of this webinar, so I'll quickly go past it. Next, please. These are, of course, the financials involved in the project. As I said, it was a 150 crore project. The rate at which we raised the money was 8.10, which is very, very competitive. I think it's the lowest amongst municipal bonds in the country. And we have an incentive from the government of India to the tune of 19.5 crores. We've set up a Dasra account for all those who are interested. First, our payments go towards repayment, and then we do anything else in the corporation. And we also received a 12.5 crore incentive from the state government, as there was a GO facilitating and incentivizing the first 5 corporations that issue a municipal bond. Next, please. And we're putting most of this money in upgradation of the existing STP and other things in this project itself, like bringing even the power that is being generated. Our next step is to convert as much as we can of that to solar power. Next, please. I've already mentioned all of this. So I've also mentioned this. Next, please. What I'll do is this is a model of the tertiary treatment plant that we've set up. I have a very short video in the next to next slide. Next, please. I think once I play that video, everyone can see the kind of plant we've actually set up and the kind of work we're doing. These are a few photos. Next, please. Next, please. These are a few photos from the plant, construction stage and finishing stage. Next, please. Next, please. Just the next slide. The next slide is the video. I think this is an extra slide. Yeah, you can play this. I think you can switch on the sound also. Anyway, if there's no sound, that's okay. You can just continue to play the video. I think we lost the screen share. Right. Next, please. So that was about. So this was about our tertiary treatment plant, which is one of its kind in terms of technology. It's only second in the country after Chennai, and of course, the only one by a urban local body, a municipal corporation, where we raise money from the market and have other people invested in this project as well. Uh, moving to our next initiative, can we have the next slide, please? Next slide, please. Yeah. So this is what I was initially asked to speak on, all our ponds rejuvenation. So when I was Chief Development Officer in Ghaziabad itself before being posted as Municipal Commissioner. And we did a lot of work on Amrit Sarovars on rejuvenation of ponds. And Ghaziabad is one of the, I think, one of two districts in all of India where the Manrega budget is zero. The labor budget is zero because we don't get labor at the determined price of 214 rupees. So what we did, one innovation we did at that time was that there is a permission that all the industries take for boring from the Bhugarb Jal Parishad, the underground water board, which is headed by the district magistrate and the CDO is the secretary. And in that, they have a recharge responsibility. So we tag that recharge responsibility. Say, for example, if you're taking a boring for like 1000 cusecs, then 2000 cusecs you have to recharge. So we tagged that recharge responsibility with pond rejuvenation, and that way we had done 101 ponds rejuvenation at the time, which now my successor has taken to around 200. And the same thing we did in the urban areas as well. What we're doing is, of course, ponds under Amrut. These are the ponds, the 8 ponds that I've listed here. These are the ponds that we are properly rejuvenating with all 11, 12 features that have been mentioned. And other than that, we've also done about 12 ponds under CSR and tagging through underground water board permissions. And now what we're doing is there was also an NGT case. So we use that as a good excuse to actually work on all the 140 ponds that are in the urban area of Ghaziabad Municipal Corporation. And now we have a record of not only acreage but also in terms of highlighted on the map of all 140 ponds and how many of them have encroachments and how many are encroachment free. So we know that 68 ponds are completely encroachment free, out of which we've already worked on 35 ponds, and we put set aside budget to work on all the other ponds. And out of the remaining 75 odd ponds, which are or 72 odd ponds which have encroachments, we also know that there are about 33 of those 72 ponds which have permanent encroachments of permanent nature where we can hardly do anything. But all the other ponds, we've initiated legal action under PP Act before the concerned court, and we're working on removal of these temporary encroachments. And as soon as we do that, we'll be able to rejuvenate those ponds as well. Next slide, please. I'll just show you some pictures of the work on ponds that we've done. Next slide, please. I think some pixelation is happening on the screen share, but anyway, this is the before and after pictures of the ponds that we've undertaken under Amrut and CSR combined. So you have on the left is the before picture, and on the right is this time we've had unprecedented rain as well. So these are latest pictures where we've been able to capture all this water in the ponds. Next slide, please. As my predecessor in the presentation in the webinar said, there was a competition Jal Sanchay Jal Bhagidari that was run this year by the National Water Mission and Ministry of Jal Shakti. In that, we've stood fifth in terms of in the country in terms of municipal corporations, where we were able to set up more than 11,000 water recharge structures. These are just some pictures from that. Next slide, please. These are pictures from, I think we have around 1,300 parks in the city. We've covered more than 400 parks where we've done water recharge structures. And of course, now in JSJV2, we'll be trying to cover all the parks within our jurisdiction. Next, please. These are just continuing pictures of the same thing. Next slide, please. These are so we have drains. We move on to the third topic. We have about 7 drains which are yet to be tapped, which run into Hindon River. And although we are for their IND, we've sent a proposal. We've done a pre-feasibility report, a study of 445 crores, and we're sending that proposal under Namami Gange. But till we do that, we do this aeration and phytoremediation and bioremediation. But to upgrade that, what we're also now doing is in 4 of these drains, we've set up an agreement with IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi to do nature-based solution treatment. And in 3 of them, we're going to do enzyme-based solution treatment. And we're in tender stage, and very soon we've gone in for a re-tender, and very soon we'll be bringing this on the ground. So this is to ensure that all the water that goes into the Hindon River is treated to whatever extent we can. Already with this phyto and bioremediation, we've reached COD, BOD levels of 70, 80, but our target is, of course, to bring it down to 30 and 10. And the IIT there is a study that they have done, and they've already portrayed this in many places where they actually bring it down to the acceptable limits. Simply because ensuring STPs under Namami Gange would have a time span of at least 3 to 4 years. So till then, we'll be covered in terms of these norms and ensuring that the wastewater doesn't go per se as it is into Hindon River. Next, please. These are just mapped out locations for the interventions that I mentioned. Next, please. We've also done a tender of de-weeding the entire Hindon River, and that is something that we'll be starting in the next entire Hindon River, as in whatever falls within the urban area, and we'll be starting this in the next month or so. Next, please. And this is our proposed project. On the right is actually a picture of the Hindon River, where we're proposing even initiatives where we can not only do in situ method, as I already said, but we can also trap any kind of solid waste that is going. Although we have done meshes on the drains, but we also want to see what we can do on the river itself. Next, please. Yeah, this is the nature-based solution that I spoke about, that we're in talks with. We have already signed that MOU with IIT for this. Next, please. This is just some community mobilization where we involved women SHGs for water quality testing at the household level. This is just some initiative that we're doing in terms of water and treatment of water. Next, please. We can run through it. I'm almost through my presentation. Just another initiative. I'll leave you with one last video where, in a city like Ghaziabad, which was traditionally a industrial city, but has now come up as a satellite city to Delhi NCR and a city of choice. We freed 20 hectares of land, and we've done Miyawaki plantation even between industrial areas. We planted 350,000 trees, which are now live to the height of 6 feet. And this is, we believe, not only a contributor towards better air quality, but also in terms of what we can do for water conservation. Next, please. These are some videos. Next, please. I'm not sure if they've attached these are some pictures of our Miyawaki plantation that we've done. Next, please. I've seen a comment, can we visit and observe? Yes, of course, we're happy to involve visitors. You can get in touch with us, and we'll take you through all these initiatives. This is our community engagement. I'm sorry that we haven't attached a video to the Miyawaki plantation. We would have actually loved it. It's one of our big achievements that we've done, and I'll see how I can send that video across to CSC. Next, please. These are just some photos of our community mobilization drives. Next, please. Next, please. These are all our IEC initiatives that we take. And of course, the future perspectives. Next, please. I've already spoken about all of this. Just leaving you with one last thought, that we've actually reached, for a city like Ghaziabad, we've reached the threshold of, I know the ideal is supply of water to 135 liters per person per day, but we've reached about 133, which I think for a city like Ghaziabad, where we've also reached 80% coverage through water connections is something that we sort of present as an achievement. And this is our goals up to 2047. I'll leave you with this. Thank you so much for hearing me out and for having us present Ghaziabad's work before all of you. Thank
So,
you.
Mr. Singh, we just have one question because you are in a hurry to leave. So, I just want to pose this question where Mr. Sanjeev Jain has asked, rapid urbanization and development activities are damaging the natural drainages and water bodies primarily through land use changes. Authorities are not serious to restore the same. So, what is your take on this?
Sorry, can you, my take on, can you
He
say that
he
again?
said that rapid urbanization and development activities are damaging the drainages and
Right,
water bodies. So
right.
authorities are not serious to restore the same. So what is
Uh,
your take on that?
See, I think it's a sort of a problem that needs retrofitting. I don't think you cannot stop urbanization, you cannot stop rapid urbanization, but of course, you can make sure that it goes in a planned way. You can have the problem also comes in where I feel there are multiple authorities and there needs to be more coordination amongst those authorities. But I feel that now enough is there is enough awareness about this and authorities are taking it up. I say this for a city like Ghaziabad, which was once known as a dirty city, industrial city. And as you can see, we've listed all the water bodies in the city. We have 140 as per the revenue maps of 50 years ago. And we're trying to work on all these, each and every pond. So there is will, there is political will also, there is executive will also, and of course I appeal to you for thank you for this question, but there needs to be will from the public as well. As on the call of the Honorable Prime Minister, we made Swachh Bharat Mission and Swachhta Jan Andolan. I think we need to make rejuvenation of water bodies or just working on water as such a Jan Andolan. And I don't think we can do much without public participation. So we need all round participation from all parts of the society. Thank you.
Thank you. We just thank Mr. Singh for this excellent work which he has done for the district of Ghaziabad. So we
Thank you. With
quickly
your
go.
permission, I'll take leave as I have
Thank you.
other commitments. Thank you for having me, and
Thank you.
I'm happy to share our initiatives with you once this webinar is over. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank
Bye.
you so much. So we quickly run this next poll. So we can have the next poll, please. Participants.
Shmita, you are on mute. So, Shmita, you are muted.
Sorry. So we have this question, which of these do you think is needed the most to sustain the restored water bodies? So we have this monitoring, wastewater management, proper catchment restoration, and proper planning. So 85% of the audience, they feel that. So we'll quickly have Mr. Stalin to talk about the Mumbai case. And after that, Mr. Stalin, you have 5 to 7 minutes because we are running late, and then we'll have the Miss Verma because we are already late, and we had some excellent presentation. So kindly continue with your presentation.
And I'm okay if even if I don't have
No,
to
no, please,
present. I
please.
came in. I came in to discuss. It's not for me to.
So please, please, please.
Well, let's. I hope you can see my screen now.
Yeah, we can see.
Yes. So we're talking of when we're talking about urbanization and how the rivers are affected. I heard in the beginning how we said that water is coming from about 70, 80 kilometers away. Here in Mumbai, it's coming, the city's water is coming 125 kilometers away from the city. Pristine forests have been submerged. The Vaitarna Dam provides water for Mumbai. So that is the case. But finally, it's not the case that Mumbai doesn't have its own rivers. It's the only city which has two protected areas inside it. The Sanjay Gandhi National Park, which has two, what do you call, there are two protected areas, the Sanjay Gandhi National Park and the Thane Creek Flamingo Sanctuary. The national park itself gives rise to five rivers in Mumbai. So, what are those rivers? So these are the rivers of Mumbai. These are all inside the Sanjay Gandhi National Park. You have the Mithi River, which is most notorious or most infamous or famous, whichever way you look at it. We have the Daisar River, the Poisar River, the Oshiwara River, and of course the Chena River, which exits on the Thane side. Now let's see what happens to this. This is a Chena River. This is what you can call a river. It has no walls around it. There is vegetation on the side. There are forests on the side. It runs through the forest and it meets the creek. This is the Daisar River inside the national park, one stream of it, which has again forests around it. And this is the next river, the Oshiwara River. This is what the river looks like today. There are walls right at the origin on the mountain itself. There is no way this forest can interact with the river. So this has become a drain. For what reasons these were made in the mountains is not far to understand. It is to create land. This is the Poisar River, again originating from the national park. This is what the best you can see today. Here at the beginning itself, it is contaminated. This is the Mithi River. This is the origin of the Mithi River. Where does the river go? It has to keep flowing in a canal. It's not a river. This is upstream at the origin. This is most unfortunate that a river has to be walled in right at its origin. There is no human being residing on either side of it. It's upstream. The water will not spread or flood anywhere yet. These walls were made and the river was walled in. And see what happens then. Once you make the walls a little ahead, then slums come up and then they start discharging sewage into it, trash into it. So now it is a carrier of sewage and non-degradable material. Now this is what is proposed for the Chena River. I showed you the river, nothing which looks like what I showed you will exist if this is executed. This is not started yet. They plan to make this kind of a structures there next to the river and again make this also a canal. Now the current condition is this way. If you see in the dry season and after development, it will look like this somewhere. Now, what happens when you do this kind of river development projects? The Ministry of Jal Shakti, a spokesperson also mentioned about how they are talking about natural reviving of rivers, etc. But what we forget here, whatever we saw, whatever we are going to see also, at least till today, what we saw, I would say, is completely human centric. Everything is human centric. There is absolutely no ecological indicator in any of those water bodies, rivers, ponds, lakes, whatever we say. When you remove the vegetation from a river, from the water hyacinth from a water body, you are not solving the problem. In fact, that water hyacinth is keeping the water body clear of organic material. The solution is to stop the pollution which enters that water body. But again, we spend crores and crores just to remove it and just keep it making it look attractive. Now, when you tamper with the hydrology of any river or a water body, what happens is that the floodplains are lost, the increased flooding happens, you lose the vegetation on both sides. Again, you're displacing ecosystems and you're creating floods on both sides. So my point again, I come back to what I said is that uh, we are not looking at it in a holistic manner. We are just seeing it as we are humans. We need this space. We need water. So we will ensure we have clear water. the animals can go and do what they please to. That inclusive approach is missing. And let me tell you, no amount of reading using a technology meter saying that your BOD is X, BOD is Y, and you have to go repeatedly and check it, or you have an online monitoring system. What is better? If you can see fishes and birds in it, it's automatically an indicator. So our effort should be focused towards getting a nature-based or nature-inclusive solution to this crisis. And that is somewhere lacking. We need to get that aspect into it. So I have some suggestions. If there is a discussion, I'll put it forward. Or if you say permit, I have to say it now, I'll say it now. Whatever suits.
So we'll come back to you
Okay,
during
fine. First,
discussion. So
yes.
now that you have given us the story from the ground, we have understood, like, how, what should be our focus like. So I request Ms. Verma actually to come up with the solutions, the nature-based solution, as well as what will be the impact, environmental impact, as well as economical impact. So, Ms. Verma is a senior economic advisor and chief environmental economist from IORA Ecological Solution. So, the detailed bio CV will be there on the chat box. You can please check Mr. Stalin Dayanand's bio CV also on the chat box. And please pose your question on Q&A box.
Thank you, Sushmita. Thank you very much for having me for this very pertinent discussion. Very happy to hear everyone and immense amount of work which goes on to save our river and wetlands. Are you able to see my presentation?
Yes.
Thank you so much. So I'm an environmental economist and try to work out the value of conservation, also to understand the cost of degradation. So that's what this presentation is all about. And so much is said about, conservation and all these kinds of issues. And we find that nature-based solutions are the ways and mechanisms of conserving, these systems, the ecosystems of rivers and that of wetlands. Well, I will talk about wetlands as natural capital, just as we invest money in human capital, in physical capital, financial capital, and intellectual capital, because we think that when we invest money, our returns will be multiplied. So same way, we understand the any ecosystem as well. So wetlands are kind of a natural capital. When you invest money in conservation of these wetlands and the storing them, it makes huge difference in their output and in terms of their flows. I come from City of Lakes, Bhopal. I'm based in City of Lakes, Delhi. And you would be surprised to know that I'm heading the Government of Delhi's Technical Committee on Management of Wetlands. And when I joined this committee, I was surprised and shocked to understand and hear that Delhi region has got 1,040 wetlands on record. But because of interventions and degradation happened, and now 740 wetlands remain, which we need to save. And we're doing immense amount of work for past 5 years to do that. So talk about natural capital, then what ecosystem restoration is all about, and how nature-based solutions can provide returns to us, and they can solve the problem of degradation and enhance conservation. Also, we talk about tools for wise use of wetland. Not just you have to protect the wetland, but they're also used for various purposes. And what is a kind of a wise use, and what economics lies behind this kind of wise use, and why should we put economic value and accounting into practice for wetlands? And of course, they are strongly, they're strong sources for livelihoods for many people, many stakeholders, and they are the source of climate resilience. We'll talk about 5M framework. And I'll definitely like to talk about a very classic study, being first of such study done by me and my team. I'm very happy to share that because it's led to a lot of scaling up and multiplication, not just across India, but across the globe. So that we'll be very happy to share.
Ms. Verma, 1 minute. You have actually 7 minutes because we are running
I
late.
know a lot of time was
Because we have
taken.
questions. We have
Okay.
questions. Better we discuss that also.
Quickly.
Yeah.
So that's what, I'll just, quickly run, because had it been equally divided, we would have covered that. So we get lots of, benefits in terms of provisioning, regulating, supporting, and cultural services from these wetlands, which you can see. The slides will be shared with you. As I said, the capitals interact with each other, and they provide, benefits to us. Sustainable human well-being happens because of the interaction of natural capital of wetlands with social built-in human capital. You create institutions, you create mechanisms to, control them. They are nature-based solutions because they are the ones which, they are the actions which protect and sustainably manage and restore nature or modified systems that address societal challenges effectively, adaptively, and also providing human well-being and biodiversity benefit, which is very important. And they help us because we had damages being done, they're degraded. They help us building back better, definitely. And in case of wetlands, if we restore wetlands to absorb flood filter, they filter, they absorb the flood water, they store carbon, and they provide clean water. Huge amount of economic benefits when you start, capturing in economic terms can be also, ascertained through valuation techniques. Well, these are very cost effective and, nature-centric kind of mechanisms. I can just show you this slide on the left side. It is from Satyoma Forest of Japan, where these rice fields are being conserved in a way that the natural control of pest population happens because of the white stoke, and they're using all the organic methods of conserving these areas. And it is a very premiumly priced variety of rice being sold. And then at the bottom is the Kampala wetland, which is being used for processing cities' waste. So this is the kind of mechanism happens for conserving them, definitely. And we have water management, flood and drought mitigation being lots of examples being given in the previous presentation. Water quality improvement, ecosystem health is being maintained. If ecosystem health is good, like in Bhopal, 40% of population depends on this Bhuj wetland of Bhopal city. And if this wetland is healthy, and the economic well-being also can be definitely attained. So lots of nature-based solutions, they are greening, infrastructure, constructed wetlands, biospheres, mangroves, reforestation, natural flood management happens through them. That's how we do that. A lot of initiatives being talked about, I will not go into details, like Mithi, Amrit Dharovar scheme, wetland management plans are being done definitely. And they are addressing the very important problems of issues of climate change, water security, biodiversity loss, and provide area of benefits as well. Not just they are kind of, provide solutions, they also provide lots of benefits in terms of water purification, flood control, like that kind of mechanisms go on. And we have a couple of frameworks. There's no time to go into details. It's been cut short. So there are a lot of supporting frameworks are available, legal and policy support framework, because because in the committee which we do in Delhi, we also we have a lot of databases being created, and but we also look for creation of micro plans and also getting them vetted, and of course getting a legal sanction, defining boundaries and all that. So that's been done. Local environmental knowledge is very much important, because engaging people to do that. Valuation gives you the value of why should we conserve, why should we restore these wetlands. Of course, women have huge dependence on these wetlands. Their role is very, very important. We do participatory monitoring on these wetlands, and also co-managing threats which come through these wetlands. This is a process. We look at the ecosystem services from wetlands, do the evaluation, do environmental accounting, and also develop incentive-based mechanisms, payment for ecosystem services, compensation rewards, incentives such that people who are engaged in conservation, agencies engaged in conservation being incentivized to do that. We look at mapping the, across stakeholders, which are fisher, farmers, washer folk, vendors, urban residents, and look at their wetland catchment and land use mapping. We measure, because without measuring, you cannot manage. That's what is being said. Water quality, weed biomass, ecosystem services, socioeconomic baselines need to be created. We develop sophisticated models. I use Stella and Invest for that particular purpose in my own work. Give you the whole dynamics of the system as a population, sewage, water quality, livelihoods. We do scenario testing. We do climate resilience pathways. Very important to also look at the key performance indicators: water quality, fish yields, farm income, recreation, revenue. They're source of bedrock of so many benefits and sort of ecosystem services to us. Look at governance mechanism, because institutions are very, very important for that particular purpose. Dashboards can be created for continuous monitoring. They can be through citizens or public reporting. And finally, we monetize to understand the real value, amount of investment required, for that particular purpose. And ultimately, for example, lakefront properties have got immense value as compared to the properties away from lake. Similarly, carbon credits creation, the blue carbon from the coastal and marine areas, those wetlands is hugely, they got huge, repository of such carbon, and they are premiumly sold in the market. And there's a process coming up. There's a lot of demand coming up for the blue carbon to restore, reserve, to conserve these kinds of coastal areas, and the teal carbon for the terrestrial wetland, definitely. And we also are creating certification mechanisms, price premiums, and for sustainably managed wetlands, like processes are going on. In Madhya Pradesh, Bhopal wetland, Bhuj wetland is one of the first such wetlands where huge project had come to revive and rejuvenate the water quality and the catchment area treatment. Lots of threats. It is being built by almost more than 1,000 years ago by the Raja Bhoj of that Bhopal city, the called as Bhojpur earlier, and has a huge water spread area and huge catchment area as well. And 40% of the population gets its water supply, but it faced lots of threats. You can see here, a lot of point and non-point sources of population pollution. Look at this, the beauty of this lake. It looks like a coastal area, or it doesn't look like a urban lake, but it is needs to be, definitely managed. It's the kind of model we developed using water quality parameters, looked at ecosystem services from this lake, all the threats. Very interestingly, I must highlight quickly, very structured way the Bhuj wetland management plan, which was developed, had very interesting, very useful kind of interventions, nature-based as well. Some of the engineering-based solutions also were provided to complement. There were desilting and dredging activities happened, catchment area treatment went on, shoreline and fringe area management happened, and water quality management happened. Eventually, we did a study to work out the value of these contributions and also how much people are willing to pay towards contribution of conservation of this wetland and how this should be taken forward. So just to quickly, you can see the figures here. We work out the value of water supply, fisheries, tapa cultivation, couple of other things. We sought the people's willingness to pay for a voluntary contribution, and then also if they have to pay a tax, how much should be charged from them, whether they're willing to pay or not. Ultimately, so happened, we did a very intense study and a lot of consultation of all stakeholders happened. Eventually, lots of interventions were made, suggestions were taken forward by the government, by the agencies, in terms of understanding the natural capital, in terms of policy interventions. And eventually, it led to, this study was greatly used by the authorities to, first of all, create an institutional mechanism of Bhuj Wetland Management Agency, and eventually taking the case forward to Ramsar to get the status of Ramsar, that is wetland conservation. So very quickly, just two quick points I would also like to mention. We work a lot on tiger habitat conservation in India, and I've worked for 16 tiger reserves, work on their value, their contribution. The major contribution which is coming out is water provisioning from these tiger reserves. They've got lakes inside, they've got rivers passing through, their catchment is there, or their tributaries. And recent atlas which came out just last month, launched by the Honorable President of India, mentions that there are 600 rivers, their catchment and tributaries are coming from these 58 tiger reserves of India. So it's a huge contribution. And I just mentioned about what we are trying to do in Delhi region to revive these wetlands, because they are the ones who provide a huge amount of waterscape value to us and respite from various kinds of pressures that we feel in the urban area. So I'll just close here, and definitely we'll be happy to talk about later whenever I can be contacted directly also. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Verma. I actually have questions for you. So let me start with Mr. Stalin. So you have a direct question, Mr. Stalin, which says, would you have any idea on total amount spent so far on Mithi River restoration project post 26 July disaster, and if any impact analysis have been done, where public report is available?
Yes. More than 4,000 crores has gone down the drain, literally. And it has been exposed that it's a huge scam, and there's a special investigation team which is going on. People have been arrested. Contractors are now in jail. The links are being probed. It was always a scam. The Mithi had become a cash cow for everyone who had power to exploit it. The desilting scam is such so blatant. If you travel by a road which is called the Sion BKC connector, on top of the when you reach the top of the bridge, you can see mangroves forest growing inside the river. So what desilting are we talking about? So it has always been a scam, and they have absolute thousands and thousands. Officially, it's 4,000 crores which has gone down the drain on this river. All that has been done was to make those walls which helped land to be created and constructions to come up. In fact, even today, despite all this happening, you can still see new constructions coming up on the banks of the Mithi River. That's really sad. That's a fact.
Okay, so this was a question from Mr. Manas Kundu. So we have another question for Ms. Verma. Mr. Kaustav Rao, he wants to know about the working examples of NBS from India, because he feels that urban areas, NBS requires land, which is always in short supply.
Mhm. Well, this has been actually, instead of going for chemical sort of a treatment, we go for biological control system. We look at catchment area treatment. We do plantation. We use gabion structures to filter the pollution as well. So these kinds of nature-based solutions are being introduced, which are not like engineering solutions which work in a very very strict fashion, and they're less resilient. Like for example, mangrove plantation, which not just it filters it, but it withstands against all kind of strong currents coming through. So this is the way that we use biological control mechanisms and plantation, catchment area treatment, filtration through that, and like that we try to address the
Okay,
problem of.
so there is one direct question to you, Ms. Verma, which is from Jagadisha Chinaguri, who
Mhm.
says that how sediment inflow is measured. Is there a system to measure the sediment inflow?
Yeah, there's a sophisticated modeling also available through which sediment I can directly contact me, because I think the time is less to explain the detailed thing. The sediment inflow can definitely be mentioned. There are lots of we have in case of Bhopal, I'm talking about 26 years ago. We did a study. There were 32 quality monitoring stations established around the city of around these Bhoj wetlands of Bhopal city, and every day reading was taken on more than 40 water quality parameters. And this information gets collected, and then you can also run through sophisticated models to understand the total amount, and it can also project the value in future. So we have done the sediment control modeling for tiger reserves as well, and for wetlands we talked about more about the quality parameters of water. So definitely it can be measured. It is.
Okay, so the last question to Mr. Stalin. Could you please provide some context for cultural use of Mithi River? Is there any cultural use of Mithi River so far, or was there any cultural use for the river?
Mithi in not very far away, maybe 30, 40 years ago, was used by the farmers at Dharavi and the BKC area. Paddy fields used to exist. Children used to play in it. It was called Mithi because the water was sweet, and most of the year they could see some water in the river. But the cultural spaces, it's been completely neglected. Rivers as a culture, as a space for cultural activities is doesn't there's no scope left in Mumbai now. Everything has been taken over by real estate. So that is the fact of it. In fact, one important aspect in whenever we talk of the river conservation or rejuvenation, what we should not forget is the role of riparian forests. Riparian forests have disappeared along the rivers of many cities, not just Mumbai. That inclusion is crucial if you have to have these cultural spaces or even the basic privilege to go to a river, touch the river. For an animal to reach the river, it's become very difficult. So unfortunately, like Madhuji said, that this is engineering-based solutions are being sought everywhere. Nature-inclusive solutions are not being taken into account, and that has resulted that no space is left for us to coexist or even interact with with the ecosystems and biodiversity.
Okay, thank you. So we are wrapping the webinar today, but surely not ending the discussion, because there is more to learn from people like Ms. Verma, who is actually looking at the economic values of the wetlands and also talking about the nature-based solution. And Mr. Stalin also says that the solution lies with the nature-based solutions only. So we cannot have the engineering solutions only. On the other hand, we have learned from the two government representatives, very senior government representatives, coming here and talking about their success stories, talking about the reuse of the wastewater, and how a district like Ghaziabad, which was which is still an industrial district, but still the government initiative has actually helped the district to come up as a clean district with a restoration of ponds, again using the nature based solutions only. And also they are talking about the tertiary treated wastewater treatment systems and reuse of wastewater. So solutions are there. It's not, it's like both ways, like both side of the coin. So we have some failures on the ground, but at the same time, equally, we have some success stories which are like really motivating. And we have talked about the encroachments, like the Mithi River, like the walls. Mr. Stalin had shown how the rivers were killed. On the other side, we had the municipal commissioner coming up and talking about actually changing the scenario of an industrial district, and Ms. Verma talking about the nature based solution. And of course, the umbrella of the National Water Mission, which talks about all the schemes and all the funds available with the central government, which can be shared with the states. So, surely we are not ending our discussion here. We'll have more discussions on these topics, and we'll surely come back with a new webinar with a new topic, but surely focusing on the nature based solution. Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining this webinar and making it a success. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.